Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.
Hey everybody, my name is Lisa Ray. I'm a literary agent and I'm working with the media team here at The Grass Grows where I am, and we are so excited to bring you a co-author experience where you will grow your brand and your visibility. Click the link below and apply now for free, and we will see you inside the pages of The Grass Grows where I am.
Hello, welcome to the World Healing Tour podcast, where our mission is to help you heal yourself so you can heal the world. Hi, my name is Noah Crane. Each week, we will bring you tips and tools and inspire you to live your most empowered and joy-filled life. I'm also the author of the book, The Grass is Greenest Where I Am. I wrote this book because I use it as a mantra. When you say the grass is greenest where I am, it brings you to a positive place where you no longer are comparing yourself to anybody else. My book talks about no comparison, no competition, and no scarcity, living in your own love and light and sharing your unique gifts with the world, because we're all unique and we all came here to bring our special gifts. And that's why when we heal ourselves, we truly do help others heal. And we help others heal. It's that ripple effect that we continue creating in the world by raising our consciousness and helping others raise their consciousness as well. Each week, we bring great guests into the studio to help pour into you and teach you what they do to help you live a more, grounded and happy life. My guest today, I'm really excited about him. His name is Daniel the Healer. He's an intuitive holistic energy healer, and he helps people heal both emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally. Those things are so important, the whole holistic part of the body. Daniel the Healer, I'm so excited to have you on the World Healing Tour podcast. Welcome.
Well, hello. Nice to be here. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's great to have you here with us. And I know you've been a healer for over 45 years. What brought you to that healing, wanting to heal others? Was it through your own healing work that you came to this? Or can you tell us a little bit of a backstory about why you do what you do?
So I had learning disabilities. I didn't know about it, but at one point when I came to this country, I wanted to become a private pilot. And so I had a really hard time learning the practical aspect was no big deal, but learning the theory and the book and this rule and that rule and all the other stuff that goes with it was just really hard. And somebody suggested, why don't you go and see a hypnotist? And I did. I found one. There was no email, no internet. So Yellow Pages found, okay, this one. Went to a hypnotist. He hypnotized me for one session, one singular session. He gave me some post-hypnotic suggestions that learning would be easy, that comprehension would be easy, and I was on my way. And sure enough, within 1 week, I had the whole manual together and took my exam, passed in the high 90s, and I was just floored. This was, from where I came, originally from Switzerland, born to a very mental and physical family, no emotions, no spirit, nothing. That just blew my bubble. And so a few weeks later, this guy said, I'm going to teach a hypnosis class. Who wants to? And I said yes. So I went for a weekend. That's what was the requirement in Florida then. Went for a weekend, learned hypnosis, liked it, put out a shingle and said, I'm a hypnotist now. And I started to see clients. And that's how it all started. Then I really, how should I, first of all, the things that I was able to help. I didn't know, my formal training was in hotel management. I had no idea that you could to take some suggestion, give it to somebody under certain circumstances. And it really intrigued me. And then I met my wife and we started taking courses in different modalities, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
That's amazing. And your wife is a healer as well?
She's a channel.
Wow, very cool. So you guys have so much in common.
Yeah, yeah, we're really together on our spiritual journey. We're like two single souls, two outcasts, well, self, we're loners, two loners who found each other and said, look, let's make a deal here. We're going to be together for the purpose of helping each other, and we won't be like loners as such anymore. And we've been together for 43 years now.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Really beautiful. So you started out with the hypnosis. So that was your first. Are you also a chiropractor?
I'm a psychic chiropractor.
Okay,
In
let's
other
let's
words,
explain what a psychic chiropractor is.
okay, so I learned how to heal with my gaze. This is where I gaze, what particular part of your body I look at, and I see your skeletal superimposed on your body. My imagination is very vivid, so I see the individual joints, the individual bones, and wherever. First of all, I know how to test. Just like a chiropractor, when he pushes down, he holds a vertebrae and pushes down your arm. Muscle
Muscle
testing.
testing, yeah.
Yes, I learned how to surrogate, meaning that I don't have to physically touch you, but energetically I touch you, and then I go over your skeleton, and I see where things are out of alignment, and then I gaze, and then it just goes into alignment.
That is incredible.
You
When did
just
you
I just concentrate the energies to that place. Now, this it's really interesting because uh, I I did a lot of psychic development, energy body development. I developed my chakras. I did exercises. I worked with the aura boundaries. I worked with aura placements. I worked with the chakras. I worked with grounding, with connecting to your life force, and curses and spells that I can remove, and all kinds of things. But in the process of doing that, I'm able to perceive, and because of that, then so one of the things that I learned is I create a healing love stream out of my heart chakra. And
let's talk.
then
Well, what is a healing love stream out of your heart chakra? Can you explain that?
this is when you activate your heart chakra and you push the love that is in there out.
I love that.
Now, normally when you push the heart chakra energy out, it goes in all directions. But I learned how to focus it, how to narrow it, and how to make it just one beam. And then when I do that, then I can superimpose, just like frequency modulation with FM radio, where there's a carrier wave and then there's the music of the speech that is superimposed on it. It's called that frequency modulation. I learned how to frequency modulate my healing love stream and put a program on it, meaning that once I perceive, let's say that your atlas and axis are out of alignment, then I imagine them to be in alignment. I superimpose that imagery onto my love stream. I send it to you, and then they go into alignment because you, on your end, you also have an energy body, and you receive the information through your chakras and you interpret that, and then the cells say, oh, we're not really in the correct position. I guess this is what we need to do. And then you're the one who does the healing, because then you receiving the message of what it should be, then accept that message and actually follow suit and do that for yourself.
That is fascinating. And are there many people who do that kind of work? Because I haven't heard a lot of that.
Yes, as far as the alignment is concerned, that's from a modality called quantum touch. So if you're curious, I do think that for beginners, quantum touch is one of the best modalities to learn. It's really easy, and it doesn't involve, Richard Gordon, the guy who put it together. He wrote a book. If you get his beginner's book, 1995, you read the book, you become a healer. You just know what to do. So if that really interests you, you can go to quantumtouch.com and learn more about it. It's one of the modalities that I learned, but it was the modality that allowed me to do energy psychic chiropractic.
Yeah, no, it's so you've been doing this with people now for over 45 years?
No, I've been doing healing in general for over 45 years. For the first 30 of those, I also had a career. I was a caterer, I was a computer programmer, a realtor, a mortgage broker. I did MLM, I did all kinds of things. But for the last 15 years now, I've been doing it full time.
And you do that with people through Zoom, right, as well?
Yes, anywhere in the world, just like we talk now. I know that you're in Boca Raton. I think I
Yes.
remember. I'm in Gainesville, and we talk. So people can be anywhere in the world, and it works very well.
That's incredible. So what are can you tell some stories and some things that have really changed people's lives that you worked with?
Okay, so on an alignment issue, I find some people with migraines.
Mhm.
Actually, generally they say migraines start in the back. You are tense. You tense your shoulder muscles. It stops the flow of blood to the brain. The brain complains, and that's the migraine. Well, a lot of migraines have to do also with you still suffering from coming out through the birth canal and your skull not being fully adjusted. So I've, in the process of working with that, I found part of this, psychic chiropractic. I found that if I divide the skull in two halves and see whether the two halves are rotate against each other, and also divide the skull into three levels and see if those three levels are rotated against each other and straighten them out, most often the migraines just disappear.
Wow, that's incredible. So that's almost like you're aligning the atlas.
No, the atlas is in the neck.
Okay.
It's the forehead, the middle of the head, and the bottom of the head. Those three parts, and same with the left right. It's just when you come out through the birth canal, you come in a spiral way, and sometimes people don't recuperate from that. There's a lot of pressure on the skull. Now, yes, the skull does, the top of the head is still unclosed, and the head is still very flexible and gets really squeezed.
Mhm.
But if it gets squeezed wrong, then that it can stay with you for your whole life until maybe you find me and have your head reamed and adjusted and have it fixed.
And
Uh, I also I also do other things. I do a lot of emotional processes. I help people um, get over their lots of mommy daddy traumas that are in our psyche. I work with I remove curses. I have a woman that could not function in the world at all. She was continuously being cursed. She continuously had issues. And slowly and surely, we kind of removed all these attachments. She had a few lifetimes where she was a sorcerer and she didn't do nice things. And so, there's this karmic thing that you have to experience the bad that you did to other people. So she was in one of those lifetimes where she really has to clean up her past. So we do other life therapy as well. We find forgiveness. Forgiveness is just the absolute greatest thing because it's a karmic disconnect. And so if you can process something, you can clear your emotions, you can get your anger out, and then forgive, then you can be free and move forward. Another thing that also sometimes work with autistic children. And I
well,
had this one.
I want to hear all about that because I have a son on the spectrum.
Oh, okay. So a lot of being on the spectrum is that they're extremely sensitive
Hmm.
and they're overwhelmed. And so they go into their shell, they retreat. Um, and but sometimes the their energy bodies are just an absolute wreck. I'm sorry to say this. They have torn auras. They have um, gates, portals that are open inside that fill them up with extra energy that they don't know what to do. And so, even if there's no external input anymore, they're still in a situation where there's so much stuff coming in that they want to retreat more and more and more. So, I had this one autistic kid who had a hole in his root chakra, and I went and closed the hole in his root chakra. And like overnight, he became a normal functioning person.
That's
Like
unbelievable. How old was he?
9.
9 years old. How about with adult kids? Like my son is not he's 23.
Yeah, I've had adult kids too. And or young adults or whatever you want to call them. I had a 23-year-old who is just freaking out over. He's trying to go to school and he's overwhelmed by exams and stuff like that. And his aura was like totally torn. You see, you have an aura, and the aura has a boundary. It's like egg-shaped. 2, 3 feet above, 2, 3 feet below, 2, 3 feet to the sides, and egg-shaped. Now, I don't know if you're aware of it, but if you take, and I'm going to show this, this is supposed to be an egg. It's a rose quartz sphere, but it's supposed to be an egg. If you take the egg and put it into your hand and gently and certain, make sure that you close your hand on the egg so that there's no spaces, so that when you squeeze the egg, the pressure comes from all directions evenly. You can squeeze as hard as you want, you will not break the egg. This fine little shell. Yet, our aura is the same way. If your aura boundaries are in correct shape, you're impervious to external attacks. So if somebody's aura is misshapen, then external circumstances, mostly from the astral planes, can come through, attach themselves to you, and suck on your energy, or lay a curse on you, or do all kinds of weird things with your energy field. So this guy, his aura from the about the chest up was totally ripped away. It didn't exist. And so I had to rebuild his aura. He was a different person from then on, just like so, from overnight.
So
He
what?
functions way better.
Mhm. So I was
Beg
gonna
your
say,
pardon?
so one session with you created that, or did he need multiple sessions with you?
This one was in one session.
Wow, that's incredible that you could change
Ye-
something that, and I just want to talk about like the emotional part because a lot of us are dealing with traumas and past and all that. And I know you said forgiveness is a big part of it. Do you help people come to a place of forgiveness?
Yeah, absolutely. We find the trauma, we let them process the trauma. See, when you get hurt, just assume you got hurt. When you get hurt, your response to it is to bury it. And unfortunately, once the hurt is buried, you're going to attract more hurt to you because like attracts like. And so the idea is, and people tend to resent that because they don't really want to feel the hurt. But the idea is to go and unearth and dig out the hurt, feel it intensely until it's gone, and then be healed. So it's totally counterintuitive, and many people don't allow themselves to be hurt from their past because they don't want to go through the experience anymore. They, no, 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 I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. And so you kind of have to create a safe space. You have to lead them by the hand. You have to maybe do it over 2, 3 sessions. You have to allow them to realize that they're not this incapable person anymore that they were when they originally experienced the hurt, but that at this point they're capable, they're able to discern, and they're able to go through this without being damaged. And if once they understand that and then go back to that situation and feel the hurt and then heal it, and there's also a way to do that, meaning there's a way to flow love into that moment in the past where this existed. And then, of course, you also have to understand that emotions are very tiered and very complex. Oh, I got hurt. Okay, you got hurt. So how does it feel to get hurt? Oh, I'm really angry. So, under every pain, there's anger, and then under every anger, there's pain. And so it's like layered, like the layers of an onion. But so you go back, you teach them how to actually heal the hurt, and then the anger will come to the surface, and you show them how to deal with their anger, and then they're all clear, and then they can forgive, and then they're done.
I love that. That's beautiful. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break from our sponsor. We'll be right back with Daniel the Healer.
Hi, I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the marketing director for The Grass Grows Where I Am, and we can't wait to work with you. And if being in this anthology book would make a difference for your brand, your visibility, and your profitability, click the link below and let's get you started. Can't wait to work with you.
And we are back with Daniel the Healer. This is really fascinating, right? All these different layers that we have to work through to be able to get to a better place in our lives. And I know we're talking about autism and how that can also affect you, and different emotional traumas that people have been through. How can people release, besides you were saying with the forgiveness, but is there any exercises or things they need to do also to release some of that energy and some of that tension?
Well, basically, except for hurt is the only exception to this rule. Hurt only exists in the physical. All other emotions also exist in the astral and beyond. But hurt is something that is specifically physical, and the only way to heal hurt is over time. But except for hurt, every other emotion, anger, worry, sadness, various pains, all of that in principle can be healed, number one, by feeling it as intensely as possible for about 20 minutes. So, oh yeah, I have pain, I have sadness. Okay, let me artificially amplify the sadness. Oh, I'm so sad. Deeper, deeper, as deep as you can into the sadness. Okay, 20 minutes, it won't be there anymore. It'll be gone. So it's very counterintuitive, because no, I don't want to. I'm a little sad, so I don't want to go and deal with that deeply, deeply. But you see, you like I said, you have this aura, you have these chakras. You're like a very complex being. More of you exists in your energy as in the other three bodies combined. And so you had a situation that produced anger in you, and you stuffed it. No, I can't express this anger. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm going to bed. And the next morning it disappeared, either into your subconscious or unconscious mind. But you're still an angry person. And so you now, through your chakras, into your world, I'm this you're all nice and friendly, and your mask is on and everything's good, but you're still an angry person, and you project that into your world. So what does the world do? The world says, oh, he didn't get the message on how to deal with his anger. We need to send him more situations where he can be a little more angry.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
always being tested, right?
yes, Well, it's just like a feedback.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's a
because
it's a
you,
it's also a mirror. It's a mirror, right? We're mirroring
yes,
what
you
we get in
attract
our
who,
lives. Yeah.
yes, you attract who you are.
Mhm. That's why the
So
inner work is so important, because if we're not working on ourselves, right, then we can't, change our circumstances outside. That's why the inner work is where we really change our lives.
yes, and you say, see, heal ourselves, heal our world.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like, th- th- I mean, we're definitely on the same wavelength. Totally, totally. If once I learned how to do this, and I cleared, we all want to be loved. But here we are, this infant, maybe 2, 3 years old. We don't have the sophistication. We're still being loved, but not the way we want to be loved. And for a kid, the way to be loved is to receive this toy, but you cannot today want this toy, tomorrow I want that toy. Your parents are going to say, hey, we run out of money, no more toys. And the kid says, but I want my toys. I'm not being loved. I'm not being loved. I'm being hurt. Oh, awful, awful, awful. Okay? So if you go there and heal that, first of all, the anger over the situation is still there. If you didn't deal with the anger that was created by the adverse effects of what you experienced, then it's still with you. And so, one of the ways to work with all that is to do inner child work, where you go and visit the inner child. In meaning, like, say, the 3-year-old who didn't get his toy, you go and visit him or her. And first of all, in your imagination, you've lived your past already. You don't need your past the way it was anymore. You already got from your past what you needed to learn from your past. So you can go and change your past. So with your imagination, you can go to the 3-year-old. And it's absolutely important. Do not become the 3-year-old. You go in who you are now and visit the 3-year-old. Well, during the time where he didn't receive the toy, he felt unloved. So first thing you do is you go to the 3-year-old, you say, look, I'm sorry your parents didn't get what you wanted, but I really love you and there's nothing wrong with you, because if he didn't get his toy, he probably thought he had to justify that. And the way he justified it, he says, I'm not good enough. I'm defective. I'm not lovable. That's how children justify adverse situation. So no, you're a good kid. You tell them that. You're a good kid. I love you, and it's not your fault. These are the things that the kid needs to hear.
And that will
And then,
change you in the present moment?
I beg your pardon?
Will that change how you feel about yourself by you going to your inner child and explaining that to them?
It certainly does.
Mhm.
And so then you flow some love, meaning you establish a little beam, pink beam from your heart to their heart, and you just push some love into the kid, and that will heal that situation. Now you see,
So do we have a bunch of
huh?
angry adults in the world because they didn't get their toy when they were kids? Because it
Yes,
also sounds like entitlement to me.
yes, that's what it is. How succinctly you said that. Yes, there's a bunch of angry adults because they didn't get that toy as a kid.
Wow. And and, it,
And
and
it,
and isn't it a little bit of entitlement? Because I, as a parent, okay, I have 3 kids. I actually always gave them everything they wanted. And I literally think that creates entitlement. I think say no is powerful because it teaches them to be creative and to find other ways to deal with life instead of being given everything. So if I had to do it all over again, I actually would say no more instead of giving my kids everything they want. What's your thought about that?
yes, I agree with you. But the thing to say no, see, our upbringing is shame. Our whole existence here on this planet is shame based. meaning that when as a kid you didn't do something right, you weren't told you didn't do this right, you were told you are wrong. And between doing and being, if you're being told that you are wrong, then that's shame-based. And so we carry this shame with us. But in to get to your question, yes, saying no is very appropriate when it's, but it has to be done with love.
Yes.
It cannot be done with because I said so, or because I'm the parents and I make the rule. That doesn't make sense to the child. The child will realize that, oh, I'm just not good enough, and will take this on as shame. I'm not lovable. And in that particular case, you need to tell the child, no, uh, I gave you a toy yesterday. I gave you a toy the day before. I simply, and you may not understand the things about earning money and making a living and stuff like that, and you don't really have to at this time. But it's not because of you. It's because I can't afford it. And if you explain to the child in simple terms why, then he or she won't take it personal.
Yeah,
So
so it's even as adults, I feel like, when we interact with anybody, whether it's your kids, whether it's with other people, interact with them in a way that leaves them empowered, even with the no. So not leaving them in a place of like I did something wrong or guilt and shame, like you said, but leaving them empowered with that no that you have to say. It's a boundary, but it's not like a I don't like you or you're not worth it or you're not good enough.
exactly. And kids need boundaries. We all need boundaries. We actually have boundaries. We live in 3D world. There's depth, width, and height, and we live in this cube, and this cube has boundaries. And
Uh,
the thing is that for most people who've never done some inner work, their boundaries are their blockages. And so they run up against their blockages and they don't know how to deal with it, and they retreat, and then their blockage comes back more and more because the universe says, hey, you need to, you came here, you wanted to deal with this blockage. You as a soul decided that that's what you wanted to learn. And so we're going to serve it to you until you got it. And
yes.
once you got it, I mean, look, uh, I was a real angry young man. Uh, I, I also was a late bloomer. I kind of only broke from my parents at 34. Normally a normal person, that when they develop somewhere around 15, 18, they need to stand on their own. They may still mean that they live at home, but the boy doesn't want to be quote unquote hugged in public by his mother anymore, and all that stuff that happens when you become your own person and things like that. And so I was a late bloomer, and because of that, I was also a very angry person, and late in life.
What
I
were you
still
what were you angry about?
Oh, I was angry about my circumstances. I was angry about, I was rather ill as a kid. I was a weakling. I was a sissy, a mama's boy. I was picked on by all the other kids. I was humiliated by my teachers. Life was really hard for me. And so there was just this underneath it all the time. And I had this facade of being a really nice person, but if somebody crossed me in a particular way or something went wrong, I would lash out, and I'd be nasty. My barbs would come out. If my wife came too close to me, there'd be this fear of too much intimacy. Oh, she's going to discover who I am. Let's bring the barbs out. And then finally, I learned how to deal with my anger and all these situations, all the frustrations. As I mentioned earlier, I was a computer programmer for a while, and when you write code, weird things can happen. And so I would write code and make a little mistake, and then the code wouldn't work, and I would explode and be angry and throw the computer on the ground and things like that. Well, once I dealt with my anger and released it all of a sudden, life became easy. Life became one beautiful alignment of one happy situation after another.
And
I
alignment is where
mean,
we want to be. I mean, to be in alignment with the universe, with yourself, with God, that's where you're in a flow of life rather than stuck at the circumstances of life.
yes, yes. I don't know if you went to read my bliss list on my website, but I'm in bliss 24/7. I have a beautiful, loving relationship. We trust each other. We're each other's best friends. We can share anything. We can even tell each other, criticize each other, and the other one won't blow up. I'm sitting pretty well with my health. I'm doing well financially. I have a beautiful, absolutely stunning connection with the other side, with the spirit world, with the divine, with my higher self, with my soul. Uh, Things just flow. And why not everybody have that?
Yeah, I always say if it doesn't flow, let it go, you know? I just believe that we have to be in the flow of things. You know, I always say how water flows easily and we should flow like water. We shouldn't get stuck on every little thing. We have to learn to flow over things, under things, through things to get to where we want to go. And, you know, I feel like God, universe, always shows us where not to go. And that's why there's no flow there. So when we learn to be good listeners, we can actually pay attention of where the energy is free and where we should be guided because I feel like it's a guided journey. I don't know if you agree with me, but I feel like
Oh, yeah,
everything's a
very much
guidance.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
You know, I when originally, like I said, I worked in the hotel trade, and then one thing led to another. But I worked in the Bahamas as a controller of a hotel, and then my work permit wasn't renewed, and so I got 2 weeks to vacate the island or go to jail. And I had a tourist visa to come to the United States, and I come here. If they hadn't fired me, I would have never been here. So being fired was like, oh my God, I'm being fired. And looking back at it, no, this was the way for us to get you to come here to the United States, where you met your spiritual teacher and where you learned all these things and where you had the ability to do what it was that deep down in your soul you wanted to do.
Yes. In my book, The Grass is Greenest Where I Am, I have a chapter about the gift of rejection. You know, I've had so much rejection in my life, and I had to realize that rejection is actually a gift. It gets us to go in a different direction in our lives. So when we learn to just nurture the rejection and be grateful for it, everything changes in our lives.
Yeah, and rejection and failure and all the things that come in your day-to-day situation. Absolutely.
So I
Now,
want to ask you something about recently something really bad happened to a friend of ours. He got murdered. When something that awful happens to somebody, and this was a freaky situation, you know, where somebody just he was on a golf course. Somebody just came and beat him up, beat him to death with a golf club. Okay, this just happened about a week ago. And it's shocking that somebody who doesn't even know you could come and kill you in that kind of horrific way. And it's really, actually, really traumatized me inside. Like, I really, like, I felt the trauma literally going through my whole body, you know, when I saw what happened. And such a nice, sweet, happy go lucky guy. Is that a past life? How does something like that happen to somebody who's literally like a happy go lucky person that's just always has a smile on their face, always dancing, just like an amazing energy person? How does something that awful happen to somebody like that? Is that having anything to do with an energy or any, how would you explain that?
all right. So first of all, I'm going to go and I have to give you a little background here. So first of all, you don't have a soul, you are a soul.
Mhm.
So you in your soul state, when you're not in the physical, you in your soul state, you exist in the eternal timeless now. And because that is the case, because you're in the timeless, you cannot have an agenda. So here comes this physical reality where you can come in, you can come and you can actually have an agenda and go through certain learnings and certain things that you wish to perceive and experience and know more about. And so what you do is, and it's based on the speak of our dimension in time space. From time to time, as a soul, you decide you're going to have a physical incarnation. And so the call goes out. You say, hey, I need a couple of parents to provide a body for me. You make a deal on the other side. You kind of shake hands. Yes, we will do this. And here we go. And so an infant gets conceived, and you then come. You take the least amount possible of who you are, just enough for you to have a unique identity. You grab the little bit of soul that you are, you come through the veil of time space, through the fourth dimension, which is time space, and you attach to this little body. And in the process, you forget who you are. You forget that you were a soul. You forget that you made certain agreements, that you decided what it is that you wished to experience. Basically, on the other side, you set up this obstacle course, which is your life, and then you come here, you put on blinders, and you start to run. And of course, you're going to run, over obstacles. You're going to fall down and stuff like that. Well, death is when you've learned everything you came here for to learn, then you have to die. Or the soul says, okay, we got what we wanted, time to come back home, so to speak. So for your friend that got clubbed to death, for him, it was just, okay, I go through the tunnel of light and I go back home into the oneness where I belong. There's absolutely, for him, it was like a beautiful transition. It was very traumatic in that instant. He may have not known that this was coming. It's unfortunate, but being in the human body, we forget to connect with our soul. And if you do connect with your soul, it's very fortunate when you're still in the physical, because soul holds your passion, soul holds your destiny.
But why would anybody want to go in that kind of way? That is a very tragic way to die and a very painful way to die. Why would somebody choose? Do you think like his soul literally chose that? And once he became human, can he change that soul? Can he change that? Or is it impossible to change?
If you connect with your soul and you have a good connection, you can actually renegotiate. But if you don't have connection with your soul, then when time's up, time's up. And how in this society, how are we dying?
In many ways.
Yeah, most often it's like through suffering, through being ill. He may have wanted to avoid having cancer for 3 years, having chemotherapy.
But there's plenty of people that die in their sleep, that literally just go to sleep and don't wake up. Actually, that's the way I say I'm going to die, right? So it doesn't have to be a violent death. I mean,
it doesn't have to be, but maybe he didn't know how to do that. He didn't know, his body did not know how to let go of the silver thread that keeps you alive without that. So, all death situation are part of an agreement. If the guy, the CEO of United Healthcare, who just got shot in New York
I heard
days ago.
Yes.
So these two souls, the guy who shot him and the guy who died, they made an agreement. The guy who shot him said, well, it's of course, it's not really, it's really bizarre. I mean, here they have the guy's fingerprints, they have the guy's unmasked, they have the credit card of his, and yet they're still not able to find him. So we don't really know if they're ever going to find him. But if they do find him, then the agreement is kind of, look, I need to die. I need to find somebody who shoots me. And the other guy says, oh, what a good deal. I'm looking to go to prison and see how it is to be imprisoned. So let's make a deal. I shoot you, and you give me the opportunity to be arrested and go to prison.
So,
So
so, so
all
are
all of
people, so are people that actually kill somebody not bad people because that was their sole purpose to do that?
well, there's
Because in this
cer-
world, they're considered evil, right?
yes, I know, because we have this whole um, we're in this matrix where yes, life is precious. I agree with you, and but it's only precious to the extent that for the one who is living it is getting something out of it. And once the one who's living his life or her life, they're not getting something out of it anymore. Once they've look, I was huh, one of the we all come to figure
Okay,
out who we
one
are.
second. Daniel the Healer, one second. We're going to take one more commercial break from our
Sure,
sponsor,
sure, go
and we'll
ahead.
be right back to continue this great conversation.
All right.
Hi, this is Noah Crane. I'm excited to share this anthology book with you, The Grass Grows Where I Am. So just join us and be a part of this incredible book to help bring your message and influence into the world. We're excited to showcase what you do to make this world better. Click the link below. Okay, and we are back with Daniel the Healer. I'm going to let you continue. I interrupted you.
Yes, that's fine. And I mean, hey, you're the boss of your show. You can do whatever you want. So, so once you've come and you've learned what it is that you had to learn, then you can call it quits. You can close shop. Hopefully, if your belief structure is such that you can go to sleep and die in your sleep, then you do that. But if your belief structure is not like that, and unfortunately we create our own reality with our belief, attitude, thoughts, feeling, choices, and decisions. If the only way for you to be able to die is through suffering illness or through an accident or going to war and being shot in the war or whatever the circumstances are, then that's how it's going to happen in your life. So um, I came to a point about 4 years ago where I had come to a close of what it is that I came here for, which the first thing that we all here come here for is to figure out who we are, to go deep into our psyche and to learn who we are. And I did. I went into my psyche, I learned who I am, and I cleaned up all the stuff that stood in the way. I made peace with all my past. Uh, I made connections. I learned how to create my own reality. I learned how to do magic and how to bring things into my life that I wanted to have. And so I was kind of done. And so once you go to school, there's the compulsory, and then there's those things that you can add. So I did my compulsory about 4 years ago. I was done. And so fortunately, I was able to communicate with my soul and say, hey, now what? And uh, so that said, well, what do you want to do? Soul says to me. I said, well, I'm having a lot of fun. I want to continue. And so took on, I personally, not given from my soul, I took on a secondary mission. And so now I'm on this secondary mission. And so that gives me another lease on life. I probably have another 30 years or so to go. When you know how to connect with your soul, you know how long you're going to live.
So
Because
how do you connect with your soul? How did you connect? Is that speaking to you? What do you do if somebody is listening right now and they want to connect to their soul and see what's next after when they're at a certain point, or what's their purpose? What is some tools you can give them?
okay, very simply, you have a crown chakra. Everything divine you connect through the crown. So your higher self, your spirit helpers, God and Goddess, all goes through the divine. But like I said earlier, you don't have a soul, you are a soul. So soul connects to you through your heart. So you need to understand the concept of your heart chakra. If you've ever been madly in love, you fell in love, and there's this whole, oh, I love him so dearly. There is a heart space that gets filled when you're falling in love. That's your heart chakra, as opposed to your physical heart. And the heart chakra is behind the middle of your breastbone. The thymus is the location of your heart chakra. And so, with your attention, with your concentration, which is in your third eye, with your intention and attention, you go and spend time in your heart chakra. You go, some people may call it meditation, but basically you go into a quiet, relaxed, still space, eyes closed, no interruptions, the cell phone in the other room, nothing, so that you can pay attention and have the intention and pay attention to being in your heart chakra. In your heart chakra, you don't have to do much of anything. Basically, what you do, you put a hammock between two palm trees and you lay in the hammock and you pay attention to being there. Well, soul will connect with you in your heart. And if you want to know, well, what am I supposed to do? Where can I be passionate about? Then you set this intention before you go into your heart chakra, and you spend 3-5 minutes in your heart chakra, maybe twice a week. And over time, maybe within 3-4 weeks, all of a sudden, you'll be like, oh my God, I know now what I want to do. And it'll come to you.
So
See?
So the heart chakra, being connected to your heart chakra, lets you find your purpose.
Correct. And because your soul comes to you through your heart. And so you meet up with your soul in your heart. Soul is feminine in nature. Soul is has wispy claw, it's kind of gentle, soft movement. Soul is like a beautiful sadness. Soul is like, hold on a second. I will give you some. I
Well,
have
tell me about that crystal you're holding in your hand.
this one. This is a crystal that I found that holds 5 elementals. An elemental is like a sylph, a salamander, a gnome, or an undine. These are the elementals that correspond to the 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. And they're in there, and it just feels good to hold this crystal. And when I do healing work, then these 5 elementals come to the surface, and they also go and intervene with the person I do healings with, and they do things that I do not perceive. So it's kind of a healing companion.
Very cool. A healing wand.
Yeah, I guess so. So soul and spirit. So here are some qualities of soul: tenderness, passion, courage, confidence, trust, gentleness, joyousness, peace and tranquility, beautiful sadness, and sorrow. These are qualities of soul. So if you look for these qualities in yourself, then you have the ability to touch upon the soulful part of you. You also have a spirit, and the spirit is powerfulness, freedom, exhilaration, goodness and truth, dynamism of loving, alignment with purpose, centered in the zone, and enough. These are spirit. So, and you both have a soul and you have a spirit. The soul is feminine, the spirit is masculine. When they come together, and which they do from time to time, your life can just explode into beautiful joy and love and gloriousness.
I love that. So when negative things are happening in your life, can you change that by going inwards and closing your eyes and connecting to that heart chakra? Is that how you change your energy so you can attract more positive things in your life?
Well, see, as part of us, first of all, uh, you are divine. In your nature, you are a divine being. You're made out of the same stuff as everything else in the universe. The Bible says God is everything and everything is God, and you're everything. So you're God as well. Um, you may not be as sophisticated. You may have not been going around for as long. You may have not learned quite as much yet, but you are God. And so one of the things that God does, God creates. Uh, God passionately, and in my view of the divine, there's God and goddess. Just like there's soul feminine, spirit masculine, there's God masculine, goddess feminine. Together they form the all that is. So there's God, goddess, and the all that is. That's the Trinity, so to speak. But you, as a representative of God, you as a quote unquote God and goddess in training, have the same capacities. And one of those capacities is for you to create your life. And so you need to use your imagination and you need to figure out where you want to be. So you quote unquote create a fictional future self, meaning if I want to be in this and have that in 2 years, then I'm going to go and create me having all of these things. And then I connect with that me and I get the download of all these energies so that I can have them now. And then you need to be in alignment with those energies. Like I have a client and she really wants to, her intention is to be well, but her attention is continuously on this little detail that doesn't work right, and that little detail that could be out of sync. And oh my God, what if this happens and what if that happens? So she's paying attention to being ill, whereas she's intent to become well. Well, your intention and attention have to be the same. So if you want to be well, then you intend to be well, and also you pay attention to being well, meaning that instead of complaining about the things that have not healed yet, you need to pay attention to the things that have already happened or that are in the process of happening, of you getting better. And it's the same thing with creating your reality. So, and of course, there's other factors too, because you have a subconscious mind that stores all the traumas and stuff like that. So once you are clear from your past, once you've removed yourself from the attachments that, oh, I didn't get the toy when I was 3 and I was humiliated when I was 7 and my husband or wife divorced me when I was 23 and it was awful and I still resent him or her and all that. That all needs to be cleared out. But once this is all cleared out, then now you can start to imagine, where do I want to go? Who do I want to be? And then you need to act as if you were there already. You need now to fake it till you make it. So, for the person who's driving an old clunker and wants to drive a Rolls Royce, he has to first treat his old clunker as if it were a Rolls Royce. And then he will set in motion a set of energies that he's going to project into his universe, and they will attract through that the circumstances that he or she wants in their lives. So that's how you create. Now, once you know how to create, then you can go into co-creation, meaning that now you bring in the energies of the divine and ask them to help you in manifesting this which you wish to manifest. I don't, just as an example, I don't really do any marketing in the physical. I don't have presence on social media. I don't have any ads anywhere. I don't do anything like that.
People,
I go,
yeah.
I go and speak with my spirit helpers, and I tell my spirit helpers to go and talk to other spirit helpers and tell them about what I can do, and tell the other spirit helpers that if they think that the ones that they are caring for could need my help, to get in touch with me. And so I get people that come to me and say, I have no idea why I'm getting in touch with you, but somehow I felt I had to. And boom, there's another client.
I love that. So unfortunately, we're out of time. I could speak with you all day because you're fascinating, and there's so many more questions I want to ask you. But Daniel the Healer, how can people connect with you and find you?
Okay, so I have two ways to connect with me. One is through danielthehealer.com. That's where I do my personal one-on-one work. But I also would like to highlight that I do weekly, on a weekly basis, I do 2 free energy healing sessions online where anybody can just register on my site and then participate as many times as they want. You see, one of the things that is happening in these very, very turbulent time, and where people are in chaos and they don't know whether they're coming and going, and probably 95% of this population lives in fear, in terror, and all this energy is out there. And if your aura is not well sealed and stuff comes in, you absorb that. So this is kind of a tune-up where I go over 10 different things during these, it's about an hour, hour and a quarter, to brighten you up, to create as much light in you as possible so that you can vibrate at a higher level and not be affected by all the doom and gloom that is out there.
Oh, I
And
love that. So danielthehealer.com, right?
That's for my personal readings. For this, participating on this free healing, it's ihealyourpain.com.
Okay, I love that. Well, thank you so much. It's been such an honor, and we should definitely do this again. I so enjoyed talking to you.
Oh, well, I'm game. So I really appreciate. Thank you for all the questions. Very, very nice. I appreciate having been able to share this. I wish you all the best. I bless you. I love you, and I cherish you. Be well.
Thank
and
you
farewell.
so much. That's beautiful. I want to thank you today for joining us at the World Healing Tour podcast. Until next time, remember to do these 3 important elements daily. Have a grateful heart every day and connect to your gratitude. Every day, also remember to ground in love and compassion for yourself and love and compassion for others. And number 3, every day know that you're not alone on this journey. This is a guided journey. You're always being guided by higher power, whatever you want to call it. I call it God. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Namaste. The World Healing Tour Movement with your host, Noah Crane. Heal yourself, heal the world.